A good dog is a great part of any home protection plan. This is Chester. He is an Anatolian Shepherd, Great Pyrenees mix, and he is the guard dog for our goats in the back, but he is also part of our home protection plan because this fella, whenever he hears somebody coming up the driveway, he is going to be barking. And if there's anybody walking around in the woods or there's a deer or something walking around back, he will be barking. He's a good fella, and he's also kind of intimidating looking. So when somebody comes to the house and they go around back and they see him, then he's a little bit scary looking, but he's pretty friendly as long as one of us are with him. But a good dog is a great part of any home protection plan because they're going to be a good early warning system, because these ears can usually pick up a lot of things that humans don't pick up right at first. So dogs are not only man's best friend, but they're also very good at protecting things because they can hear things and smell things that you might not initially. Now, other things that you can do around your house to help keep everything protected is having a good lock on your door and having lights outside the house, whether it be just the normal sconces that you would have around the door, or you can add extra lights that come on at night when it gets dark, and it's a motion detector, so it will pick up whoever's walking up to the door and it'll come on, so it gives you a little bit of a heads up that somebody's coming to the door. And then it also gives light, so when you're looking through the door, that somebody is out here. And then motion detecting lights on your garage. If it's a separate building like we have here at our house, the garage is a separate building, so we have some lights on it, and they come on whenever you start approaching the front of the garage. So it helps to lighten up the way there so that you can see what's going on. Now, there's different types of locks that are available for your home. The ones that we have right now just have the regular handle here at the bottom, but we also have a keyed a touchpad for our deadbolt. So especially on any exterior door, you want to make sure you have the regular lock, but also have the deadbolt lock, and the deadbolt needs to be deep enough into the door frame itself and have some really long screws going into the door frame so that it makes it a lot harder to kick the door in. And the way this one works, you just press the name plate there and it locks the door. So it's pretty easy to be able to lock the door. And if you don't have your keys with you, then you can lock the door and still get in your house because you've got the punch code to get in. And if for some reason the battery goes dead, then you still got a keyed option available there to be able to get in the door even if the battery's dead. And it just takes this one I think takes a 9-volt battery on the back side of the lock. Another thing that you would want to have around your house would be a security system. And with our security system that we have here, it's just a fairly basic system, but you want at least the motion detectors and glass break systems. If you don't have a window sensor on each one of your windows, or a door sensor on each one of your doors, depending on how your house is made, you may or may not be able to use the type sensors that are available with the camera systems or the alarm systems that you can get. But if at least what you want to have would be a good glass break inside the room, so that if somebody breaks in the window or breaks the glass on the door to try to get in, then it would pick that noise up and it would alert you that somebody's trying to break in your house. And then you also have motion detectors that you could have inside the house. And a great thing to have on the system nowadays that's pretty inexpensive to add to the systems is a camera. Something that you may not consider, but is also an added benefit for you, is if you have a detached garage from your house, it helps with your insurance, because the fire hazard from parked cars or anything like that, car catching on fire, that type thing, is less. With a detached garage, it's going to be less of a loss if it's just the garage that has problems, rather than it being attached to your house and it winding up messing up the whole house. Other things you can do with your garage is, unless you have something going on in your garage where you can't get the car in there, make sure you park your car actually in the garage, use it for what it's designed to be, and keep the car in the garage. That way people don't know whether you're at home or not. And it also helps protect your car, because it's not out in the open and nobody's going to be rambling around your car trying to figure out whether there's anything that they want to try to steal out of your vehicle. Now, another thing that helps with your garage is to have the keyless pad here, so that instead of having a lock on the door that you have to try to manipulate to get the door open, then you just punch in the code here on the keypad and hit enter, and the door goes up automatically without having to do anything manually yourself to be able to get the door open. So one of the things that we do with Chester every day is we take him on a morning walk, and we kind of circle the perimeter of the house and let him see where everything is supposed to be at, and it gives him a little bit of exercise, and also just helps him see where it is he's trying to protect. If you can find a location where you can get the house back off the road a little bit, where it's not maybe as visible, then it's harder for people to find sometimes, but it's also away from prying eyes, so that you don't have somebody just wandering onto your property because you're right on the side of the road, and somebody can see your house very easily and not have to go all the way up your driveway to get close enough to your house to see what's going on. When you're developing your home protection plan, there's a lot of different things that go into it, and the one part that I haven't mentioned so far is a home defense firearm. Now, whether that is a shotgun, an AR type rifle or pistol, or a pistol of some sort, then leave that up to you, because there's arguments either direction as far as what's best as far as for a home defense gun. Some people swear by a pump 12 gauge shotgun. Some people say an AR is better. Some people advocate for pistols. You know, depending on which defense person that you're talking to, that's the opinion that you're going to get, that what's going to be better for home defense. My feelings on that is, use whatever you are most comfortable with. If you're most comfortable with having a shotgun for home defense, by all means, do that. But if you're not or if you are in an area that is very restrictive on what you can have and what you can't have, then the stuff that we talked about in the first part of the video may be what you have to use to be able to have a home protection plan. But if you're in an area where your guns are not as frowned upon as in other parts of the country, then by all means have at least one gun at the house to be able to defend yourself with, and have a plan in place where you can get to that gun whenever you're going to need it. Don't have it in one part of the house and you're always in another part of the house if that's the only one that you have. Have it somewhere where it's fairly readily accessible to you when you might need it most. So check out doubleeaglegunworks.com for more information, and like and subscribe down at the bottom. We'll talk to you later.